Welcome to RHI's Sociable City Interviews, where we meet with global thought leaders on nightlife and the social economy. Today we are joined by Leesa LeClaire, President and CEO, Greater Nashville Hospitality Association. She is an award-winning hospitality executive with extensive experience in hotel management and leadership. In her current role, she advocates for the local hospitality industry and works closely with the mayor's office on nightlife and Nashville's public safety initiatives. Hey, Lisa, so great to visit with you and to do this interview. I'm so excited because we're coming to Nashville, but I certainly believe you've had a big role in the evolution of the city's hospitality industry. So maybe just start with a brief background and how you got into this role.
Absolutely. Jim, I came to Nashville in 1991 as a general manager of a small hotel out by the airport and immediately fell in love with the city and knew this was going to be my forever home. I got involved in the Greater Nashville Hospitality Association as a board member many years ago, and then again back in 2013 when I joined as a member from another hotel I was managing. And after COVID and a couple of other blips on the radar, we realized our city needed a little bigger voice for the industry locally. And our board voted to start the Greater Nashville Hospitality Association as a standalone office. And so I began in that role in 2022.
Hmm.
And we've come a long way. We're very excited about it. I think that the elected officials around us know who we are and realize the impact that the industry has on the city.
Well, it seems to be that, and just my conversation with people in Nashville, it's almost as if there was an explosion in the city, that it was really mostly a lot of small independent venues, and now you have these multi-level mega clubs, with big branding like Garth Brooks, and where we're holding our reception, Lainey Wilson. I didn't realize her significance until I went to the Country Music Hall of Fame and saw a whole wall dedicated to her. So
She's
it's
she's quite an
clearly,
entertainer.
yeah, but there's certainly been a an evolution. So what have been the changes from your perspective? And clearly, one of the sessions we have is women in hospitality and entertainment in Nashville. How have you seen the changes from the 90s when you first came to today?
Well, you're correct. It's been an explosion. It has been tremendous. Back in 1991, we probably had fewer than 19,000 rooms in the area. And as of last night, we had 42,519 hotel rooms available in the city, and that's just in Davidson County or Nashville proper. There's another 2,700 rooms opening in 2026, and then another 5 to 7,000 in the pipeline. So I think that's a pretty big explosion, if you could call it that. The
Yeah.
restaurant scene and the Broadway and bar scene is equally exploded in the same kinds of numbers. And I think there were a few sort of beginnings to that. One was bringing professional sports. We landed the Nashville Predators hockey team and built them an arena back in the 90s. And that helped put us on the map a little more. And when the Tennessee Titans came to town at the end of the 90s and built another stadium, I think that was another transition. Um, we built a brand new convention center in 2013, and I think that made a huge difference as well. And so all of those things happened in that, 10, 15, 20 years that really helped put Nashville on the map.
So in terms of promoting the city, then it's not just the music. It's actually become a destination for sports. It's a destination for tourism. You have this explosion in hotel rooms, which obviously have to be filled. And there's also quite a diversity of areas besides Broadway, which I understand we're going to be focusing in on at the summit and I know you're going to be working with Jamie Kent on figuring
Right.
out how to let people know that there's business beyond Broadway and that there's culture that extends beyond just the country music. So So how do you promote, or how do you, promote the city beyond just the country music, in terms of how you represent the businesses that you represent?
Well, I will tell you that our friends at the Convention and Visitors Corp, the NCVC, do a super job of that, and they work hard on the international travel level and in the United States. We were very hyper focused on making it music city, not country music city, because we
Mm-hmm.
do have a lot to offer outside of country music for certain. And country plays a big part in it. There's no doubt about it. But as you mentioned, the Bluebird Cafe. There'll be country music there, but there's all kinds of music. So I think that started the conversation. You add the sports to it, and then all of a sudden you have this big, beautiful LEED certified convention center, and we've created a destination. And you're right about the neighborhoods. We have music all over the city, art all over the city, and our restaurant scene has also exploded in the last few years. And so the Michelin awards have come to Nashville. We have a few restaurants now that have Michelin stars, and in addition to some James Beard Award winners, and it's taken off. We're excited
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Well, I mean, naturally, with any kind of growth, there's always challenges, and those challenges could relate to oversaturation or competition or lack of skilled workers or, policies that restrict certain activities or behaviors. I mean, what do you see from the members of your association as really with this growth? Not only is there opportunity, but there's always the challenges that come with it.
Well, a couple of things that, and you hit on some of them certainly. Safety, in my mind, is topic number one. Any city that wants to invite visitors and their residents to be an active part of the city needs to be safe. So that is a major focus for our city. Additionally, workforce can be a challenge. And we have thrown some of our resources behind it. We've got some great local universities that offer hospitality programs. And we also have, we were beginning this in the high schools. Our high school program runs around an academy format. And we have four high schools that have a culinary program and five that have some type of hospitality program included in them. So that is a major focus. I would also say that a challenge can be keeping our authenticity. You mentioned Lainey Wilson and some of the other named bars with the superstars named to the bar, and we want to make sure that we maintain that authentic hospitality that is welcoming to everybody, and that can be a challenge as you grow and bring people from different parts of the country and the world to participate in that. But
Hmm.
we're proud of where we are today.
Yeah, well, I know you mentioned safety, and I've been doing interviews with your police commander and your fire
Oh, good.
chief and Diana from your transportation, and we've worked with over 80 North American cities on some of these issues, and clearly, I think Nashville's approach to public safety is the most comprehensive and inclusive that I've come across. So I think you're doing a good job with that, considering the mass quantity of people that come there, and when you mix alcohol, and obviously you have your bachelorette parties that you're most noted for, the whole sense that women feel safe in the city is really a key indicator of the success that you have, not only within the public sector, but also within the venues themselves. And so what role does your association play in helping to integrate the public safety and the marketing and the promotion, and really stepping back and saying, where do we want to grow to, rather than let's just ride the wave until we see where it takes us?
Yeah, great question and great observation. I will say that oftentimes when meeting with other folks from outside the city, I like to talk about our we call it the secret sauce. Is that we work really closely together. You mentioned competition, and I can tell you that the local hotels will certainly be fierce competitors. At the same time, if there's a group coming in that we need to work together to secure or to accommodate, by all means, we do work together, just as you had mentioned with the police department, NDOT, the fire department, and of course, the mayor's office of nightlife. The role that I see Greater Nashville taking there is to really making sure that our membership is aware of the resources available to them, and and to keep reminding them about that authenticity and working together. The high tide floats all of our businesses, and I think we can take advantage of that.
Yeah. I know Sean Townsend. I don't know if you know him. He's with the DC Metro Restaurant Association.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
But he was also the first kind of nighttime manager for the city of DC. So you bring up the Office of Nightlife, which is a new phenomenon. Right now in North America, there's maybe about 15 or 20 cities that have a dedicated staff person that's primary focus is around coordinating local resources and helping to support the dining and entertainment businesses. And, in some cases, that role is even evolving to the daytime trends of daytime parties and daytime festivals and daytime markets and, how people are socializing as much during the day in some cases as they do at night, which puts strains on city resources as well. So how do you say that, because the night Office of Nightlife is only a couple of years old, but how do you see in your association, are they duplicative of the work that you're doing, or do you see them as an ally in some of the initiatives that you want to undertake?
I think it's been truly complementary. And again, it goes back to that working together. We kind of stay in our own lanes as much as we can, and where we cross over, we make sure that we're focused and working together. One example I can share with you is a safety program that emerged here a few years back with the Red Frogs. And I'm not sure if you've met Dan Terry yet with Red Frogs, but they're an organization that are a safety net, sort of between the party and keeping the entertainment and the people participating in it, keeping them from going to jail or a hospital by helping them find their friends, find their hotel room, charge their phones, get them some cold water. We worked really closely with the Benton, McDonough, and the Office of Nightlife to find them a permanent location in our downtown core where they could set up a tent. They're currently doing it every Friday night, and I understand they've just won a grant, and that will allow them to be able to be there from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday nights. They're staffed with volunteers, and they've been really tremendously helpful in keeping the city safe
Mm.
and authentic. And so we are grateful to them. But it's a great example of the work that we did together with the mayor's office of nightlife to secure space for them.
Yeah, I read in the news about Nashville, and with the restaurants closed, it seems like the food trucks are coming in there as a source of food. But I know in Nashville, as in other cities, the introduction of food trucks can both be a really positive cultural evolution that people are finding the opportunity to experience food from food trucks that they might not otherwise have. And it's also a great entrepreneur building program where my background, I started working at a hot dog stand when I was 15 years old in New York, and I ended up opening up a restaurant in Pittsburgh. So, I have a career in hospitality that began with the food truck. But they're controversial in some cases too, because it depends upon how they're structured, and especially at closing time at night. So how do you see the food truck industry integrating into the overall dining experience in the city of Nashville?
I think that's another great example, and I can mention several that have brick and mortar stores today or restaurants today that started in a food truck, and we're very proud of them. I think that the regulation around the food safety, sometimes there are oh, what's the sound systems around them to kind of attract folks. And so we just want to make sure that they're sort of playing by the same set of rules. And of course, when you're a brick and mortar store, you're paying property taxes, and so there's taxes that go along with that that help keep the city clean. And we want to make sure that we create an even playing field for the food trucks. I agree with you. I think there's some great food I've had the opportunity to get introduced to because of a food truck. Maybe it's a different ethnicity or specialty, but I think there's a place for both of them. But you're right,
Hmm.
you have to find the right regulations that makes that all work.
Yeah, along those lines, I know, particularly as it relates to alcohol regulations, but also just some other regulations that come down from the state that sometimes at the local level kind of contradicts the interest of the local community or maybe usurps the authority of the locals to try to solve some of the problems on their own. And, clearly you have a Tennessee Hospitality Association that works on state level issues. But how do you see the interaction between your local association, the state association, in addressing some of the policy issues? And what might be some of the policy issues at the state that you feel could enhance and benefit locally?
Well, not too long ago, a couple months ago, we had a meeting with our local restaurateurs and our state government officials. And we had a great conversation about recycling. And one of the state legislators was not aware of some of the challenges that the restaurants were experiencing if they were in a leased building. The landlord sometimes didn't want them to collect food scraps for recycling and glass because they were worried about critters or whatever else might happen. And that state legislator was like, oh, interesting. I'm going to take a look at that and see if there's some state legislation that we could introduce that would help with that.
Hmm.
So I think one of the great things we've done, both at our state level and local level, is get to know and have our members get to know their elected officials, whether it's our city council or the state level government, and continue to share and build relationships with them so we can share the impact that they might have with any proposed legislation. I think that our state recognizes because we're a sales tax state, we don't have income tax here. Those sales taxes pay for government services. And so we have to make sure that we are not blocking opportunities for us to generate that income.
Yeah. Well, this has been wonderful. I know you have another appointment coming up. You're a busy person and a lot of things going on in Nashville, but I appreciate your participation. I really find Nashville an exciting place to be, and I'm looking forward to I've already interviewed several of the people that are going to be on the women and hospitality and entertainment. Certainly a dynamic mix of perspectives, like you mentioned. Michelle Kennedy from the Predators,
Yeah, perfect.
the second or the third president of a National Hockey League, really bringing sport, but also bringing the women's perspective to sport, I think is really an important outcome. So it's really exciting, obviously interviewing Tiffany and Erica and you. Are really a key. And I appreciate you taking the time, and I look forward to April.
Jim, we're looking forward to it too. April should have beautiful weather here. Thank you for what you're doing. I think this is a great service to the public and to the industry to bring us all together so we can share best practices and learn from one another. So you keep up the good work too.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, and have a
All
great day.
right.
And I hope things warm up for you this week.
Please melt. Please melt. All right. See you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.